Hello, everybody. Welcome to Crypto CJ's Trade of the Day. It's the Monday night Zoom edition, and we've had a lot of activity over the weekend and today with Bitcoin and Ethereum. Let's look at those charts first. So, you guys should see my Bitcoin day chart. You see it okay? All right, good. I always ask you that because the first show I did, I started talking about it and I wasn't sharing my screen. So in case you're wondering why I go through this tedium every time, that's why. So Bitcoin has mostly just shot up, the last few days. We had a bit of a dip today, but it came back pretty quickly. See it better on the 4-hour chart. I adjusted my trend. Yeah, I took out the channel and put in a trend line. So I'm hoping that Bitcoin continues to shoot up, or the worst comes down to the trend line, bounces, and then continues on up. So we had that scenario on the yesterday, and I actually bought a Bitcoin short at about this time yesterday and halted Bitcoin's drop because that's my superpower. Yeah. So and then it shot up. So I had long and short positions in Bitcoin yesterday. So and then the long one ended up getting stopped out in profit, at least when this drop happened this afternoon. So a little bit of a bummer. I'll look for a good entry point later today or tomorrow, I hope. So, and then let's see on the 1 hour. Yeah, this is yesterday's drop, and that's a closer look at what happened this afternoon. Recovered pretty quickly. It's working its way back up. Looks like it's going to blow past 46. Some of the people I watch think 47 is going to be some significant resistance. So we'll see how that plays out. So that's what I have for Bitcoin. Let's look at Ethereum as well.
I got to tell you, I made my first trade.
You did?
I did. And I bought at 43.01 last night on the Bitcoin.
Okay.
Even though I love Ethereum and I'm not fond of Bitcoin, but I read everything I could and decided I got to pull the trigger sometime. And so I'm just sitting though. I couldn't put in a sell. I don't know if I'll ever be a day trader. So I'm just sitting.
All right. So you're in at 43.01 and you're still in?
Oh, yeah.
That's awesome. So you have pretty nice profit.
But I can't sell. Now what?
Yeah, you can. I mean, 43.01.
Okay, so where do I put my sell at?
Well, what exchange are you on?
iCoinPro. You know I'm conservative.
That's not an exchange. That's an information source like Altcoin Alert. So do you mean Coinbase Pro?
Coinbase Pro. There you go.
Okay.
See, I got to get my terms right too. Yeah. Jeez.
All right. So you're up right around 8%. And you bought in yesterday?
Last evening, yes.
All right. So in less than 24 hours, you're up 8%. That's an outstanding day trade. So
okay. And we're at 46 something now.
Yeah, but this brings up something really important about day trading and really all trading, in that you need to have an exit plan in place before you make that trade. Now, I know it was an emotional hurdle for you to overcome to make that first trade, and I'm thrilled that you did it. So that's awesome. But a close second to making that first trade is getting the hell out. So
yeah, okay, I agree with that.
Right. So and we're
you know what? Every other long trade I've done, I generally know what my exit is, but I just couldn't. So now that I have to prove that I'm at least a swing trader. So if we think resistance is coming at 47, do we have any data that backs that up?
Yeah, we can go back to the day chart. That's 58.
Okay, let me see
50.
if I can tell you. So hold on. I'm going to read your chart. Yeah, right.
It's a bit muddled, cluttered with some Fibonacci stuff, but
Right.
that's
Long there, 48. I'm pointing at it. Can't you see? Okay, bottom of the red that's on ballpark, well, that one. Yeah, you're on it. Down
yeah.
one
So
more.
this area here is where 48 is, and we have
Okay, then I'm higher than
four
that. Okay.
four candles, that were here in May before the dump on the 19th.
Uh-huh.
So
if I exit
so
at
that's
the bottom,
yeah, that's a
right,
47.3. And then we've got some
okay.
more, so we got some support here back from April. So this is some of the reasoning behind,
Okay, so if I put a
47.
stop loss at 42.50 and then watch it if it goes through that point.
Well, you're in a good position. If you're up 8%, you want to stay in. I suggest a stop loss slightly slightly into profit, or at your buy order. So you have a no risk trade. So if you got in at 41,
I must be using the wrong term. Okay, so I put in a sell at hypothetically the 46.80ish.
okay. All right. So what you mean is that's a stop.
If,
That's a stop or a limit order. So
okay. So if I go through that, or if it goes through that, then how do you follow it up?
well, you don't. It's going to kick you out.
You don't. You just
when it
get out.
hits, and you're
Okay.
out with at that point probably 12% profit. In a couple of days, that's a good day trade. It's a 2-day trade, but that's all right.
Maybe I just get out now and take your money and run, right?
Well, I had this very issue. I wasn't actually in as I made mine late in the day yesterday, but I was up a couple percent, but I was on leverage. So I set a limit order, actually a stop loss, but in profit. So that way it was a no risk trade for me. But when
okay.
So if you want, if I have time, I'll bring up Coinbase Pro and I'll see if I can show you how to do that. I'm used to doing it on Binance, but I can probably figure it out on Coinbase Pro. So anyway.
Okay. All right. Sorry to take up so much time, guys.
No, this is important stuff. I wouldn't have spent the time on it because we have younger traders here who need to know, how to evaluate. I mean, we talk about, I'm trying to show you guys how to get in and out, of your trades as far as evaluation. But, Laura brings up a good point. How do you actually do it? How do you execute it? So, it's a good thing to talk about as well. And
thank you.
Thank you. All right, so we were looking at Ethereum, I believe. And here's the day chart. This has mostly gone straight up. I made a slight adjustment in my trend line. Yeah, because we went sideways here and it did break through and then shot back up. So I'm just hoping it follows this trajectory. It'll probably come down and test this in the low 3000s and then go up again, but maybe it won't. And one could argue that, my trend line should look a little different, maybe like this, sort of ignore these and keep going. So maybe the retrace would be smaller to, just above 3000 and then shoot up, or maybe it'll just shoot up, who knows. But it has been following Bitcoin more. I was really hoping it would set itself apart. I think I say that every time I look at this chart, but because it pretty much did the same dip sequence that Bitcoin did this afternoon. All right, any more questions on Bitcoin and Ethereum before I move over to AltcoinPro? Altcoin Alert. Okay. All right. Axie has been in the top 5, seems like for 2 weeks now. I've been trading this coin a lot. Let's check it out. Okay. I know, I saw this, like, where was I? I was watching baseball with my dad. Watching the Diamondbacks lose again. But there's no warning for this. I mean, look, you got 3 candles going down. It's sort of in a dip sequence. It's 1, 2, no third dip, then out of nowhere. I always wonder if someone hits the wrong button on their computer when this kind of thing happens. Anyway, see the day chart. Hit its high a couple of weeks ago, and it's been trading in a channel between, say, high 30s, low 40s since then, last 10 days to 2 weeks. On the hour, big drop here after the big spike, went up again last night. Here's the dip we talked about. And then it's working its way back up, probably hit 45 soon. Okay, what are our day trading options on Axie? I think it's too high right now. Did another spike though. This wasn't here when I looked at this a half an hour ago. Just out of nowhere. Look at this jumbled mess here of 5-minute candles and pew. So this thing can be volatile. If you get another green candle with some trending action in your RSI and MACD, maybe it goes back. That's kind of risky for just a 1% move. We do have, resistance right around here at 44.30, 44.50. Excuse me, up to 44.70. So, but again, not much. Not much to show for it. So I think that's too risky for me. A dip sequence like this is much more appealing. I would wait for that. And one thing you can do to catch these is to put alerts in the RSI. We're on the 5-minute chart now. I think this is a little more effective on the 15-minute chart as far as the alerts go. And then when the alert goes off on your 15-minute chart, you go back to your 5. Then you might see something like this. See, it's starting to bubble out here. We have the big dip, 1, 2, 3, and there's a 4th dip, pretty big one here, and then a pretty strong recovery. So if you caught this right around here, took it to this short-term resistance here, 0.71 up to the SMA line, 1.5. You could have been out of this in less than 2 hours with almost 2%. So if you're live trading it, you can catch this up to 2.5%. That's a pretty good day trade. Okay, any questions on Axie? All right, so let's see what else we have. Parsec, I'm not familiar with this one. I did look at it before the Zoom today. So let's look at the KuCoin listing. When we see these diagonal lines, not diagonal, but horizontal lines here, small horizontal lines, that's usually indicative of low volume. So don't like that. That's a strike. This hasn't done much. It hasn't been on this exchange very long, only since late May. Just mostly working its way down. But a big pump today, so that's probably why it's on the list. Drop here, might be coming back. Candle just turned red, but a bit risky. But if it's coming, if it's bouncing back, you catch a 5% return going up to this this recent resistance on the 1-hour chart on the 5. Yeah, I was looking at this around here. It punches through the SMA line. It's about 3% up to the top of the Bollinger Band. Corresponds to some resistance. But I don't know, 2 or 3% to go up to the recent high is a bit risky, I think. I'd be more interested in a dip sequence on this. I'm not really seeing a good example here. But anyway, I've ruled this out because of low volume, so let's not spend any more time on that. Zen, usually like 80 or better, but Zen's pretty close, so let's check it out. This was a coin I was trading a lot earlier in the year. And I know the CryptNation guys like it. Can't remember if it's on the recommended portfolio or not.
It used to be, but they took it off a few months ago.
Yeah, I haven't updated my fibs. Probably since April. Big pump in May. Big drop on the 19th. Had a pretty good recovery into later in May, but then it dropped again, starting to come back. On the 1 hour. Nice move today, dropped this afternoon, coming back. All right, it's looking like some of the others we've looked at. Like to catch it in a dip sequence like this. 1, 2, sort of 3, pumping up, dropped, and then worked its way back up again. So if you caught this around here, the SMA line's 1.5%, not bad. Resistance here at 2%. Yeah, just not enough juice in the squeeze, and in my opinion. Don't really see a good day trade setup at the moment, but again, with the dip sequence could be promising. All right, are there any we could look at Dogecoin too. People like that one. It looks just like the one we just saw. So yeah, that dip sequence here, it's above the SMA line now. It is trending up a little bit. 1% to the top of the Bollinger, resistance here at around 2%. On the fence on that one. Okay, anything else? Any other AA scores you guys want to look at? We can we can do a couple sorts too. We've been doing this Elder Impulse lately.
Get a minute, go look at NKN.
NKN, all right. See if it shows up here.
It was in the top 5 there.
Yeah, here we go. That was the first coin I ever traded. Laura, the moment you had trading Bitcoin, this was mine in November of 19. So made my 0.3% and jumped out. I had no problem selling. I was the opposite. I had trouble. I still have trouble staying in, but
I know that feeling.
yeah. So all right, well, let's look at NKN now while we're thinking about it, so I don't forget. See if it's on my list. It probably was at one time, but okay, was doing a lot of nothing until,
So my question, CJ, on this one is, would you look to wait for it to come back down to where it was doing nothing in the beginning, or is it starting a newer level of what do you call it? Not condensation.
consolidation.
Yeah, that word.
Well, not really at this point because it didn't hold this level very well. I mean, it did have a pretty big jump from here, went up 80% in 19 hours, and it's given up, about half that. It'll be interesting to see if this level holds, this 36 cents area, maybe 30 to 40 cents. I keep an eye on it. and try to find, I don't know, it's in sort of uncharted territory now. I mean, what's this?
Yeah. Okay, just
I mean,
wondering your thoughts.
well,
I've been looking at that all day thinking, do I or don't I, or do I or don't I?
I mean, before the dump, it was over $1, so there's room to move. It's one nice thing about trading after, the dumps we had in May is that, there is history that this coin's been up significantly higher than where it is now. So that's the good news. But as a day trader, I want this to happen fairly soon. I don't want to be stuck in this for a month.
Mhm.
Swing trading is different than what I'm talking about here, and there's nothing wrong with that. I do some of it myself, but as far as a day trade, this I don't know what to do with this. So if it does punch above the SMA line, you heard me say this before, you got almost 4% to the top of the Bollinger Band, but yeah, if you want to put a small amount in to see if you can catch, retrace back here, double digits, just know that's a riskier trade than most of the things we talk about here. So
Probably why I didn't go into it yet.
yeah, it's intriguing, All right, so
Is
that's
there enough
NKN.
volume to support it now, though?
Probably. I don't think TradingView has very good volume indicators. So if I were to go over to my Binance account and look at the volume, actually I could probably find it on iCoinPro. Going over here a little earlier than I usually do.
Or CoinGecko.
Yeah, it might be easier. I usually look at CoinMarketCap. And then um, $258 million, 24 volumes over 150 million. So that's good volume. That's not just distinguishing between an exchange though. So you usually want to see what the volume is on the particular exchange you're looking at. So that's why I went over here, because it'll tell me what the volume is on Binance. But it's not searchable, so I just have to eyeball it. I'm not seeing it right away. So I mean, it's sort of one of those middle of the road tokens. It's not, a crap coin, but it's not, top 10 or 20 either. So anyway, let's wrap up Altcoin Alert and then we'll get over to iCoinPro. So we did an elder impulse search or sort. We've got bullish numbers for Bitcoin. I'm looking for neutral or better on the AA score, thumbs up. On trading, got that. Neutral in the short term, bullish on the longer term, and longer term we mean a day or two, for our purposes. The only thing I don't like is this small number here, but that's not unusual for Bitcoin.
We're
I'm
still
still seeing
looking at CoinMarketCap.
Really?
You must be on another screen.
I am, but I didn't change my. Oh, your screen sharing is paused.
Oh.
That's weird. I've never seen that before. Try that again.
It's a much
All right.
better picture.
Is this Altcoin Alert
Here's
now?
There it
Altcoin
is.
Alert again.
All right, that's strange. Oh, probably because I added a window here that wasn't here before. That's probably why that did that. Anyway, so yeah, I was mentioning, for Bitcoin, we have bullish under daily and long-term sentiment. So we like that. That's something we want to check out. We want neutral or better on the AA score, thumbs up or better on the trading activity. Social activity, a little less concerned about. It's not like people don't know about Bitcoin. So, and then I'd like to see 5% or higher usually on this. We're now a projected sort, but again, with Bitcoin, I'm probably willing to stay in it for a day or two or three if I have to. So we've gone over Bitcoin in some detail already. I'm not going to look at it again, but it is interesting that it showed up here on this sort. So Altcoin Alert seems to think that, or at least these columns seem to show that it still has legs to move. So similar scores for Binance coin. Binance seems resilient. All the bad news in the world, they just don't care. So they just keep pumping. I keep thinking I'm going to move my, my coins off, and then I don't, because I should do that. But all right, let's see if we have any more bullish scores that we can look at. FTX token's intriguing. Neutral, thumb, fire. This is my second favorite exchange. FTX token, the FTT ticker, bullish on both long-term and elder, and even hourly. So it's up 13% today. Cool. I've got a little bag of that. Let's check out FTT. It's kind of interesting that Binance lets their competitor trade their token on their exchange. So
I was going to say, you bought it on Binance and not on FTX.
no, I bought it on FTX actually,
Oh, okay.
but I know it's traded here. So
yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, that's the nice move we saw. This one's really pumped up nicely last few days. Actually, last couple of weeks.
And where'd you get in for your bag of that?
I don't remember. I exchanged some non-performing tokens on that exchange for FTT. It's a small bag. I don't even think it's $50 worth. So.
Was it a day trade, or would you just do it at some point?
No, I just did it because I had about, I don't know, 8 to 10 coins on there. I dumped 3 or 4 that weren't doing that well, and they were all leverage tokens. So, and then if you're on a larger exchange, you can convert some of your fragments that are left over after day trades into, that exchange's token. So I did some of that too. So on FTX, they call it converting your dust. So I converted my dust, and it came up with, a few FTTs. Well, not a few, maybe 1 FTT is what I have, I think. But anyway, and if you follow any of the news on CryptNation and the Slack group, FTX they have a US version, and then there's also they're also doing some sports sponsorships. So they're making a move to insert themselves as at least a top 5 exchange. But
can you? They're doing all this stuff like these sports things in Miami.
Yeah.
But can U.S. citizens trade it without a VPN?
I think there's an FTX US.
Okay.
Like
that
there's
confused me.
a
It's like they're
Binance
building
US.
all this stuff up, and I thought, well, why? Who are they?
Yeah, that occurred to me because if I don't engage my my VPN, they don't let me on the exchange.
Yeah. So like, who's there? I guess they expect to, but I don't understand the business model.
Well, I think they're trying to promote the US version,
Yeah.
but I don't know for sure.
Yeah. It's okay. You're not responsible for them.
I'm not. But we can talk about their token. FTT did dip with Bitcoin this afternoon. Really came up hard. I mean, recovered nearly everything it had lost from this morning. So it seems to have some resilience. Let's see. I sort of looked at this. You see strength like this. Back in March and April, the earlier part of this year, from say January through April, I was sort of cavalier about. I was just looking for any retrace within a reasonable amount of time. We may get to that point again where you can just go, okay, I'm on the day chart. It was here. I'll buy it here, and I'll hope for a retrace back to where it was and try to get 20%. I actually, did a few trades like this, and I'd see him up 10%, then I'd get out. I wouldn't hold him for 20% because I don't have that kind of patience usually. But 10% day trade's outstanding. So, but I digress. Let's see, where can we trade this now? It's well above the SMA line. If you want to get in now, it's a 1%, 1.3% to the top of the Bollinger Band. I'm on the fence on this one. Again, I've said it many times. I like this scenario better. So I wouldn't get in up here. I'd wait for retrace. Okay, well, that's about all I have for Altcoin Alert. Any questions on that before I move over to iCoinPro?
Yeah, let me ask you, the one you've got on the screen.
Okay.
You like that 3 or 4 dips that you just pointed to.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's ignore the right-hand side of the chart beyond that and say you decide after those dips you'll get in.
Yep.
When the green candles start climbing, like maybe the second green candle there.
Well, let's look at the dips first.
Okay,
Got our first one here.
right.
And then it goes up, and then this one, it's our second dip. We got a red candle, it doesn't quite go up, so one could argue this is only 2 dips.
Okay.
Why wouldn't you have started back
One
to the
dip
left?
before. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a
there
good
you
question. It's a good question. I want the bubble.
go.
You know, it's
Okay,
bubbling out
okay,
here.
got it.
Yeah. Some of the worst trades you can make are the anguishing squeeze drop. So it's squeezy like this, and it
Mhm.
just drops like this. This will ruin your week. So you don't want that. You know what? I was a little off on this one. Let me do this again. Because this one actually punched through, so this is the second dip. So our first dip's here. The green candle punches through. This is our second dip. This green candle punches through. And this is our third dip over here. So we're going to talk about iCoinPro. Justin Clark, the co-founder, likes to put his buy orders down here on this third standard deviation. Talk a little bit about this on Friday, where you can do another Bollinger Band, and instead of the second one, which is the default, you do the third. So another way to do it is to not do that and just put your buy order a little bit below the Bollinger Band.
So he wouldn't have gotten in on this because he would have had his buy order too low.
He might have, he might have missed this. So,
Okay.
he might have seen this action here. Well, it actually hits the bottom right here on the third dip. So yeah, he may have caught this. I'm not sure, but
Okay.
it's pretty
Well,
close.
just hypothetically then, let's say that you got in there.
Okay.
Okay. Now, as a day trader, what would you be looking for? Looking at the left side of this chart and those dips that just happened, would you think it's going to go to the SMA line?
I would look at a few different options. There's some resistance here, 1.7%.
Okay.
Bollinger Bands, almost 3%. Also corresponds to some resistance here.
Yeah,
We've got
that's
some
what I
more
was looking
resistance up here.
Yeah.
If you watch some of my older videos from earlier this year, you'll see in this scenario, I usually choose the middle.
Okay.
So I'd probably go to the SMA line.
Like 3%. Okay.
Yeah,
So once you
2
were in, then you would put a stop order
Right.
like 3% up, and you would take your 3% and you would go have a beer.
I don't like beer, but other than that, all
Okay.
that's true.
All right. All right. All right. Now, where would you put your stop order?
If
you
I'm
got
spot
into that trade?
trading, I don't use stop losses. I usually ladder buy. So I will set an alert. I would look for support, but I'm not seeing any right now on this. Yeah, I'm not really seeing any support recent. It's all the way back to midnight.
Yeah.
So I'd probably do like 2 or 3% down, maybe 5%, depending on how hot the coin is, for an alert to let me know if it's dropped,
Mhm.
and then I may have to do a ladder buy. But you know, I tried to do some ladder buying and leverage and it hasn't worked at all. So I'm kind of rethinking that, but in spot trading, I feel comfortable doing it. So.
Okay. Well, I was thinking what you said to Laura earlier,
Mhm.
that if you get into a trade, you should have your plan to get out and your
Exactly.
emergency. So I was trying to find one that you could like walk through and tell us that. But now you're this isn't like looking at the Bitcoin thing where she had some places where she could find resistance
Yeah.
and stop losses.
Yeah. It's not a great example of resistance and support, but you know, it is a real 3-dip trade. And,
Yeah.
you know, sometimes, you know, even the video I've sent you guys, you know, shows a perfect, you know, a perfect 1, 2, 3 dip trade. They're usually not that perfect. They're usually kind of jumbled like this. So,
Okay.
all
All
right.
right. Well, thanks for the example.
Mm-hmm.
Back to one of his questions, his early question was after that third dip. So the candle goes green, green, green. Would you really, I think what I've written in my notes before is you don't go in till the third green. Is that not true on a 5-minute chart?
Some people teach that. iCoinPro, which is where I learned this, does not. They actually frequently buy on the red, on the third dip and on the red. I'm not comfortable with that. I want to see at least one green candle after that, then I get in.
Just one green candle.
Right, after the third dip, one
Okay.
green candle, maybe two.
Okay.
Depends
Okay.
how, you know, how the market's
Okay.
going and, you know.
Okay.
So, cool.
Thank you.
Go, you're welcome. And let's go to iCoinPro and the Rsi Spy, because there was something on here I wanted to show you guys. All right, so this is the Rsi Spy. It's one of the options that we have on iCoinPro to find trades. They have something called Trade Finder. I don't care for this. It takes too long, and it'll show me if something's dipping or a squeeze, but it won't tell me which dip it is. So I have better ways to find dips than this. But Rsi Spy and Buddy Coin Crawler I like a lot. And they don't necessarily make distinctions for Bitcoin pairs or volume. You can sort by volume, but I like to sort by the 1 hour RSI. And nearly everything is overbought. So these are usually coins that are really hot right now and are due to come down, could eventually end up in dip sequences. There's been a lot of talk on the Altcoin Alert Slack channel about this coin, CTSI. So I thought we'd look at that while we're here. We have a drop-down menu, and I can go to Trading View, and it'll load my most recent chart format, maybe. But I have 8 windows open right now, my VPN running, and it's being a little pokey. All right, let's see if I can find this on over here. All right, so probably picked up those values I showed you from earlier today when it pumped up here to $1.25. That's a big pump. It's like 100%, 145%. Gotta love crypto. And then drops 35%. So that's crazy risky in my mind. I'm not even sure if I want a dip sequence on that scenario. It's a real squeezy right here. It visually looks like a squeeze, but there's 10% between the bottom and the top of the Bollinger Band, which usually would look like this on a Bitcoin chart. But I think this big pump has really skewed how this chart looks. So I'm not sure what to do with this. Maybe try to, it did dip here. I don't even know if you guys can see that. Top of the Bollinger Bands, 4%. I'm just not comfortable with any of this. I think I'd pass on this one. Let's see if
The
we can find
volume just
something.
fell to nothing after
Yeah.
that big pump. It's like flatlined.
Mhm. Yeah, get a little bit of big volume here, big selling here. I wonder if this was a exchange listing,
Mm.
like on Coinbase. This one's been on Binance for a while. I mean, I've traded it before. Yeah, so it's been on Binance since last year. Don't always know why they pump up like this. All right, enough of that. Let's see, what else do we have? Rsi Spy. They have these fan tokens that are for like soccer teams in Europe. Never traded any of those. This one looks interesting. Raven Coin was pumping over the weekend, I think. Let's check that out. Actually pumped up today. And this was a couple days ago, yeah. Yeah, I haven't looked at this since February. Yeah, it was way up there at nearly 30 cents in February, down to 12. Now it's up, came down to less than 5 cents and then 12 cents today. Got kind of a saucer here. And then the 5 minute, I didn't really drop that much during, well, it was up here during Bitcoin's drop today. Not really seeing an option, a trading option here. So let's do a different sort. This isn't that useful. It's also got the fear and greed index, so that's handy. Looks like we're greedy now. Oversold, you know, we have the opposite. We have overbought pretty much right now. Buddy Coin Crawler. Okay, for anybody new, I like to sort by this column here, the average low to SMA. The low is a 24-hour low of the coin. And the SMA is that middle pink line I've showed you on my charts between the Bollinger Bands. I'm looking for 5% or more. We've only got a couple candidates here. TrueFi, I think this is a new listing. Thorchain. I'm kind of mad at that one today. I took a big dump on me today. You ever get angry at coins like they're people?
Yes,
Yeah.
tell her.
Yeah. Yeah, for Rune, I've traded this with good results for the last, 6 to 8 weeks, and then today it just wouldn't stop dropping. So that was ugly.
Down.
Yeah. Let's look at this TrueFi. Let's see if this will work. There we go. All right, so this was on Binance on since January. Let's see if we have any news. No, not really. Big pump up a few days ago. Been dropping since then. Little bump here on the earlier today. Let's look at the 5 minute, see if we have an opportunity. Looks kind of dippy, jumped up, and then it may want to go into a dip sequence. We got a pretty big red candle dropping below the SMA line. If you get something like this, 1, 2, 3, wait for your green, then get in here. There's 1%, drops again. It goes mostly sideways for a while. You'll be stuck in this for a while. That's kind of ugly. No, not liking this at all. 1%. Okay, I'm not happy with iCoinPro. They're not showing me anything I like. So I think we'll bail from here, and we're going on about 45 minutes now. I'll just throw it open to you guys. Any coins you want to look at? Anything? Any questions you have about iCoinPro or Altcoin Alert?
Not me.
Nope.
Well, you're doing good so far.
Let's see if I can bring up iCoinPro and go over Laura's situation with her exit.
I gotta clarify, I don't know what I said earlier, but I bought at 8:18 last night at 43,001.
Okay,
I had
sounds about right.
I bought ETH yesterday morning. I don't know why I bought on a Sunday morning. I know prices go down on Sunday evening.
Usually.
Anyway,
Is that a limit order that you had in at 43,000, or did you market by?
no, I limit 43,001. I thought we weren't supposed to go in at even numbers.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm learning so much, it's not even funny. You don't know how ignorant you are until you start learning something totally out of character.
All right. That's what I'm trying to show. It's not showing my screen I want. Well, oh, there we go. All right, are you seeing my Coinbase
No.
Pro?
There we are.
All right, so I'm trying to move this away. So if we want to sell, we have a limit, advanced. Yeah, this jargon's pretty different. Yeah, I'm not going to try to wing this during the recorded part. I'll probably have to look at this myself or trade it myself before I, talk about it with you nice people. So what I would probably do, and it's really up to you, is I'm not sure how to do stop losses on here. So yeah, there we go. Yeah, I would set a stop. This seems to be it. I'm not sure if this is exactly how it works, but I would probably set a stop in profits. You're at 41 or 43, we'll say 43,000. Maybe you do a stop price at, 43,500. And you could do all the amount or half the amount and then put the price.
And then just
Stop price and the
ladder
limit.
it up.
And I think you would put a lower price here, maybe 434. Yeah, 44,350. Okay, that's why that looks confusing to me. I have one too many zeros. 44,350, and maybe 44,300. So it gives it a little room in case there's a big crashing dip. And so, the worst thing that happens is you're out with a small profit. You're out with actually kind of a medium profit.
Okay.
So that's probably how I would
Okay.
handle it. But you know, there's a chance. I've often said my stop losses are total wick magnets. So, you know, Bitcoin could go through a dip sequence, drop to, you know, 44.2, take you out, and then shoot up to, you know, 47.8 or something like that in a couple hours. And it's like, oh man. But,
Yeah, I hear
you
you.
know, that's always a possibility. So,
Okay,
all right.
I appreciate that. Thank
All
you.
right. Sorry, didn't quite go as smoothly as I'd hoped, but
No, it did.
okay.
It takes me a while to catch up, so you did wonderful.
All right. Any other questions? We're yeah, nearly an hour. So any coins you guys want to go over? Everyone's shy tonight.
How
Well
about
then,
Zach?
did you say something, Annalena?
I said, can you check ZEC?
Zec,
ZEC.
Zcash. Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Let's see if we can do that. All right, Zcash. Not looked at this since November. All right, the big pump in May. Down 70%, coming back. Not much though.
Slow.
Pretty good movement the last week or so. Dip here, working its way back up today. 5-minute chart. Do we have a day trade here? Like that dip sequence there, but otherwise not really seeing one. Works its way back up here. Got 1.5% to the top of the Bollinger Band. Are you in this one, Annalena?
I am, yes.
All right, so you're looking for, do you want to say about where you got in, or is this something you've been stuck in for a while, or is this recent?
I don't remember what I got.
If you don't remember, you probably didn't buy it today. So,
No, I did not.
okay.
No. I bought it 107.55.
All right, well, you're in profit. That's cool.
Yeah.
It's 129
I want to
now.
be in more profit.
Okay. Again, I'm the wrong guy to talk about holding coins for weeks at a time for maximizing your profit. So you're on the wrong show for that. But I admire people who can do that.
It's in the model portfolio. It's been there a long time.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I've got something that's been sitting
Yeah.
around.
I mean, it was a great bargain in May or June. It has come up. So if you got in at 107,
In July.
yeah, probably right about here. Here, 17. 4. So you're up 26% at one point. Dropped about half that. Yeah, if it were me and I was in your position, I would look for, well, I can't really, if you're in this long, then you probably want to hold it and get, 40, 50 or even double your money, which again is sort of outside the scope of this show. But, I do suggest, if you haven't done already, is to put a stop loss in profit. So if you're at 107, at the minimum, put your stop loss at 108, so your trade no longer has any risk. So
Yeah, good point. Thank you.
okay.
Isn't
All right,
this,
guys.
Pizza Man that suggested once you get in something like this, that you sell off enough to pay what you have in so that you're playing on the coin's money?
Right,
So everything else, it doesn't matter?
right. And she's up about 20%, which is a really good gain, but it's not quite enough to do that. You have to double your money first before you can, if she were like up 120%, she could sell half and then she'd be on house money.
Couldn't you
For any
take
gains.
10% of it and reduce some of your risk?
That's a reasonable thing to do. You could sell portions as it goes up. I never do that. I always sell it all. But that's, again, that's a day trading approach. So, swing traders do, what Pizza Mind suggests, especially if you double your money, then, sell half your position and now you're in, now you're good to
I
go.
tried my day trading on NKN and I'm still in it.
Okay.
Down, down, down.
Good old NKN. Well, with the way Bitcoin's moving, most of the coins are coming back. So I don't know how long that'll take or how much grief and pain we'll have to endure during the retraces and the pumps. So we'll see. But yeah, a lot of them have dropped, as I've shown on multiple charts, 60, 70% since May, and some have come back strong, some have not. So some of the older coins that are taking more time to come back.
Hey, CJ, Alan was complaining about that getting out too soon earlier today.
Yeah, good old
He got
Alan.
out at the short end of a long candle and he was spitting wooden nickels.
Yeah, he's a lot of fun on
I'm
the,
sure Alan's doing okay.
he's a lot of fun on the Slack group. So, I mean, some people are in Altcoin Alert just for the, just for the Slack group. So, they could argue it's worth it for that. But all right, guys, we're right at an hour, so I'm going to wrap it up.
Thanks, CJ.
I do have a
Thanks,
chat.
you.
So,
Thanks a lot.
okay, thank you. All right, one more thing. Eric is saying, any idea why the gas fees are sky high now? I thought the fork was going to lower costs. Yeah, I thought so too. For me, whenever I have to do anything involving Ethereum, I do it on the weekends. The fees aren't as high. I don't do it during the week if I can avoid it. But yeah, it did bring them down briefly, but now they seem to have gone up again. So I don't have an answer to your question, Eric. I wish I did. All right, that's all we have. We'll see, hopefully, most or all of you guys on Friday afternoon. Otherwise, we'll see you next Monday. Bye.
Great. Thanks.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.